So the Winter Nexus event has been going on for a good little while now. I've done progressed all the way through the reward track. I did that mostly in a retriever, just on a second screen. Had some things I had to do on the computer, so I went ahead and I set the retriever out and jumped back and forth, from site to site on the winter mining. Um, I found the rewards to be not too much less than what you would receive running one of the high-sec combat sites. Now, perhaps I've just had bad luck with these combat sites. I haven't ran a ton of them. I ran, maybe a handful. Wasn't impressed horribly with the loot. And at the time, I just didn't have the ability to not be multitasking it. So that's how I progressed through it. It went fairly quickly, it seemed like. So, the mining sites are a viable way of actually completing the Nexus event. If that's your thing, is mining, you're going to see, I think just as much reward, pretty close to the same amount of reward as what you would for running combat sites. So what we're doing today is I've obtained all of these nullsec filaments. So I don't want them to go to waste. I do remember last year having a lot of filaments left over. So I don't believe I actually used the filaments. I'm not sure if I really participated much. I think I might have just been doing abyssal stuff. But I want to use these nullsec filaments, and I want us to take the endurance, jump to nullsec. We're going to go ahead and hit up some of these mining sites in null. Currently I have 2 of them packed up, and I have 1 high sec one packed. So if we need to jump to another nullsec site, if the first one's maybe too crowded, the first system is too crowded, we will jump to another one. But the main thing is using the high sec site to jump back, so we don't have to like drag all of our loot all the way across null and try to find our way in, without getting popped. So hopefully we don't run into any issues and we can just, in and out and get us some loot here. I'll leave the fit for this ship down in the description. I'm not actually going to go over it, but it's a pretty basic fit. So let's go ahead and we're going to undock. Right, so we'll go ahead and look in the inventory here. Pop one of these. And away we go. Start this adventure. And I can already see we're going to have quite a few people here. We're going to try to cloak as soon. We do have hulks and a porpoise grid. Alright, we're going to jump to, I found one here. I'm going to go ahead and pull my inventory up. Also, where you guys can kind of see it. Okay, so fingers crossed we don't run into anything weird here. There could be people right on grid. If there is, we're going to cloak. There is not. There is a porpoise and a hulk somewhere. But they are not within 1 AU. Should be good to go then. Okay. I'm just going to leave the directional scanner set to 1 AU. I'm just going to keep scanning as we go about our little mission here. Now, the one issue I did run into when I was doing this last time was the NPCs. At one point, I had like 8 cruisers, I believe, warp in on me. I left that site and I went to another one where there was I think it was a destroyer and a cruiser, or maybe 2 destroyers and a cruiser, or something like that, which was much more manageable, just for speed tanking alone mainly. I barely had any issue out of them, and the drones were able to eventually take them out. So the ice we're picking up here in this particular site, friable volatile ice. is the most valuable. All right, so we're gonna go 14 and dump, 14 and dump. Like we'll just keep running over to the orca every 14 blocks. We'll do this as long as we can. Once we get back, that's when we'll actually open our crates. Not gonna bother opening them until then. We get popped, you know, I don't want to know what I lost. So far, we've been pretty lucky. Like I haven't had anybody like really even warp by. So whatever is going on here, we are not the topic of discussion. All right, so there we go. All right, so on to the next one now. Of course, I'm going to spare you guys unless anything like major happens. You guys won't have to sit here to see the entire process of collecting all of these blocks of ice. So I'm going to mine as many of these as I can. I actually started making this video. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's 4:13. I have until about 7 o'clock. Once we exchange these 14 units of ice, we will have 12 loot boxes. I think that's pretty good. And we have about 15 minutes until the system shuts down for daily downtime. So we're going to call it a day here. Take our little crates and head back to high sec. So I'm just going to warp to just a random planet, I guess. So here we'll just warp to 100. And as soon as we get there, we'll pop this filament. There we go. Yeesh. I was starting to worry a little bit there. So let's see what we got here as far as loot. That's the main reason. All here, right? Okay. These are the red salvage packages you end up in NullSec. So let's see how valuable these are. Okay. Have a booster. 7th tier. 11th tier. I should have checked that beforehand. That's all this. Okay, so basically what we had in the cargo hold is basically worth nothing. So we're at 7 mil on that one. Here, 7th tier. Not big on the salvage kind of stuff. All right, so we got a 10th tier, 7th tier, got a booster. Sixth tier, 8th tier, 9th. And 8th tier. Livestock Liberator display. These displays are kind of cool. I don't know that they're actually worth anything, but they're just... Alright. The booster. Fireworks. Their high element. 9th tier. And another Livestock Liberator display. It's always good to have a second one, in case something happens to your main one, you know. Display gets knocked over on Nullsec Ice Storm Filaments, a couple of them. We can make our way back. Now those are the ones that will take up to 5 people, but you're just going solo, that's cool too. 11th tier. Alrighty, this would be the last one. So we get a skin or something. Alright, so that's that. Let me pull this up here so you can see what our grand total was. So we ended up with about 57 mil. Or, I don't know, maybe about an hour's worth of ice mining. Pretty good. So next, I guess I'll have to go ahead and... I mean, to me, that seems like it's a lot better than what it was the first time that I tried to make this video. Like maybe a week ago. So maybe the loot's getting a little more valuable. I may have to actually try running the combat sites again and see if the loot is actually better than what it was to begin with. So now the question is, how far is it to get back to my little makeshift base? So I'm going to go ahead and start my journey home, probably as soon as downtime is over. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, fly safe.